Dogs can eat tuna in oil, but it's not the best thing to feed them. Feeding your pup too much salt will lead to a slew of health problems, including kidney disease and high blood pressure. It is important to monitor their intake of this food as well as any other type of canned fish because they contain omega-3 fatty acids, which are crucial for a dog's development and growth. Can dogs eat canned tuna? Yes, dogs can eat canned tuna. In fact, it's a popular item on the menu for pet owners looking to feed their furry friends a healthy diet. However, as with any other type of food, moderation is key. Feeding your dog too much canned tuna can lead to health problems down the road due to the high levels of salt in the fish. That said, canned tuna is packed with omega fatty acids, which are great for dogs' skin and coats. It also contains tons of protein, making it a good choice for dogs who need to put on weight. So if your pup is underweight, talk to your vet about adding some canned tuna to his or her diet. Just make sure you don't give them too much. Be sure to monitor your pup's intake of canned tuna daily, and adjust accordingly, so you don't overload them with salt or protein. Can dogs eat raw tuna? No, dogs should not eat raw tuna. In fact, it's actually quite dangerous for them to do so. Raw tuna contains high levels of mercury, which can cause serious health problems in dogs. So if you're thinking about feeding your pup some raw tuna, think again. There are plenty of other healthy foods that he or she can enjoy without the risk of mercury poisoning. How much tuna should you feed your dog? As with any other type of food, it's important to monitor your dog's intake of tuna and adjust accordingly. That said, a good rule of thumb is to give them around 2 or 3 ounces per day. If your pup starts to show signs of weight gain, cut back on the amount you're feeding them. And if they seem to be losing weight, then increase their daily intake. It's also important to remember that canned tuna isn't the only source of omega fatty acids out there. There are plenty of other healthy foods that contain these nutrients, so feel free to mix things up every once in a while. Just make sure your pup gets the proper nutrition he or she needs from both canned tuna and other sources alike. Too much tuna in your dog's diet can lead to health problems, so it is best not to feed too much tuna. How much tuna is safe? As a general rule, 1 tablespoon per 5 pounds of body weight should be sufficient. So if your dog weighs 50 pounds, only give them about 2 tablespoons at most, since that could cause some problems later on. You may want to consider giving smaller amounts over time instead, so they get used to eating it without having any negative effects afterward. How should dogs eat tuna? Dogs should eat tuna the same way you would. This means cutting it up into small, bite-sized pieces and feeding them directly from your hand, or a treat pouch. Try to avoid putting too much salt on their food as well, because this can lead to health problems down the road if they consume it in excess. Can dogs eat tuna if pregnant? There is no definitive answer to this question, as there is little research on the matter. However, it's generally recommended that pregnant women avoid eating tuna due to the high levels of mercury found in the fish. This same advice likely applies to dogs, so it's best to err on the side of caution and not give them tuna while they're expecting. As always, consult with your vet if you have any concerns about what your dog can or cannot eat while pregnant. Is there dog food that contains tuna fish? Yes, there are a number of dog foods that contain tuna fish. However, it's important to read the label carefully before purchasing one. Not all dog foods that list tuna as an ingredient are created equal. Some products may contain high levels of salt or other unhealthy additives, so be sure to do your research before buying anything. When feeding your pup canned tuna for the first time, start out with a small amount and see how he or she reacts. If everything goes well, gradually increase the serving size until they're eating 2 or 3 ounces per day. As always, monitor their intake and adjust accordingly to make sure they're getting the right nutrients from this food. And if you have any concerns about your veterinarian. Is albacore tuna safe for your dog? Yes, albacore tuna is safe for dogs to eat. It contains lower levels of mercury than raw tuna, making it a safer option for your pup. However, it's still important to monitor their intake and adjust accordingly. As with any other type of food, too much can be harmful. So make sure you only give them the recommended amount per day and keep an eye on their weight and overall health. Your dog can enjoy plenty of other healthy foods, so don't feel like they have to live off canned tuna alone. Mix things up every once in a while to keep their diet interesting and healthy. What is skipjack tuna? Skipjack tuna is a type of fish that's similar to albacore but has slightly lower levels of mercury. It also contains more omega fatty acids than regular canned tuna and is therefore considered healthier for dogs in some ways, although it still doesn't contain the nutrients found in dog food. Can dogs eat tuna fish bones? Yes, dogs can eat bones from raw or cooked tuna. However, they must be small enough so your pup won't choke on them. If you're unsure how big these bones are, don't give your dog any. Some people choose to feed their pups larger fish like salmon because the size of the bone poses less risk if consumed by mistake. Just remember that most commercially prepared tuna is boneless, so it's not something you have to worry about too much. Can dogs eat canned tuna with vegetables? It's generally safe for dogs to eat canned tuna with vegetables. However, some vegetables may contain toxins that are harmful to canines. So it's important to do your research before feeding them anything other than the standard canned tuna fish. As always, start out with a small amount and see how they react before giving them more. And if you have any concerns whatsoever, please consult with your veterinarian. Does tuna affect your dog's cardiovascular health? There is some evidence to suggest that eating tuna can have a negative effect on your dog's cardiovascular health. This is mainly due to the high levels of mercury found in the fish. As with humans, too much mercury can be harmful to your pup and may cause problems like heart disease or even death. So it's important to limit their intake of tuna, especially if they eat it regularly. However, your dog can enjoy plenty of other healthy foods. Can dogs eat tuna if they have allergies? If your dog has food allergies, then you should consult with your veterinarian before feeding them tuna. Some dogs may not be able to eat it because of the high levels of mercury and other additives like salt, but others will find that they're allergic to certain types, such as albacore, while fine with others, like skipjack. Difference between raw fish and raw tuna? Raw fish and raw tuna are not the same things. Raw fish contains a toxin called scombrotoxin that can be harmful to dogs if ingested in large amounts. Although it's still safe for your pup to eat small portions of cooked fish, we don't recommend giving them this type of food on a regular basis or as their main source of protein, just like with canned tuna. On the other hand, raw tuna does not contain this toxin and is, therefore, a safer option. However, it's important to note that raw tuna may also contain harmful bacteria like salmonella, which can make your dog sick. So if you're going to give them raw tuna, be sure to cook it first. What should you do if you catch your dog eating raw fish? If you catch your dog eating raw fish, call the vet immediately. They will most likely tell you to give them activated charcoal, which can help stop their body from absorbing any of the toxins from scombrotoxin. If caught in time, it's possible that this could prevent a lot of health problems down the line. Benefits of canned dog food? Canned dog food is a convenient and easy way to feed your pup. It can also be a healthier option than raw fish or tuna because it doesn't contain the same toxins as either of those foods might. However, there aren't many benefits other than convenience when using this type of food over dry kibble, which contains all the nutrients dogs need for their day-to-day health needs. So if you're looking for something different to give them occasionally in addition to their regular diet, canned dog food may suffice but shouldn't become your main source of nutrition. Instead, start with small amounts mixed into their normal meal if they've never had any before. Kibble or canned food? So, should you be feeding your pup kibble or canned food? The answer to that question is both. Kibble is great for providing all the nutrients they need on a daily basis, while canned food can be a convenient and healthy option for occasional treats. And if you're ever in doubt about what's safe to give them, always consult with your veterinarian, they'll be able to help you out. Tuna makes dogs more hyper? It's possible that you may notice some hyperactivity after giving your pup some tuna, especially if they eat more than just a few bites at once. This is because the high levels of omega fatty acids found in most types of tuna have been known to make dogs more excitable. So try limiting how much you give them each day to avoid this side effect. What are the top dog tuna brands? The top dog tuna brands are probably those that you're already familiar with, like Bumblebee, Starkist, and Chicken of the Sea. However, we recommend doing your own research to see which one is best for your pup's individual needs. Some may be better suited for dogs with allergies, while others have lower levels of mercury. It's important to read the labels carefully before making a purchase. Pros and cons of commercial dog food? Commercial dog food is a great way to feed your pup if you're on the go or don't have time to prepare their meal in advance. However, some can contain lower quality ingredients that aren't as healthy for dogs and may also cause allergies. Because of this, it's important to research any brands before making a purchase so you know they'll get all the nutrients they need. Where can I find fresh tuna? You can find fresh tuna at most grocery stores and specialty fish markets. However, fresh tuna can be more expensive than canned tuna, so you may want to use it only for special occasions or when they've already had their regular meal. Fresh tuna can also contain harmful bacteria like salmonella, which is why it's important to cook just about any type of seafood before giving it to your pup. Can I feed my dog fresh caught tuna? No, it's not safe to feed your pup fresh caught tuna. While they may seem like a great way to treat them every now and then, raw fish can contain harmful bacteria that could make them sick. It's best to stick with cooked varieties of seafood, so you know their body will be able to handle the food. What form of tuna treat is safe for dogs? Small pieces of tuna treats are generally considered safe for dogs. However, it's probably best to limit the amount you give them each day because too much fish can be dangerous. Some types even come in small bite-sized chunks, which make them perfect for training or rewarding your pup. The best brands are those that are made in the USA and contain minimal ingredients, so you know they're safe for your pup to eat. What other types of seafood can dogs eat? Clams, mussels, and oysters can be considered great seafood treats if fed sparingly. However, we recommend doing research about any other types of seafood before giving them a try. Some may not be good for dogs at all, like shrimp or octopus, which could cause digestive problems. It's important to consult with your veterinarian first because there may even be specific breeds that should avoid certain kinds altogether. They'll also let you know how much is safe to give them each day based on their weight. Can I give my dog tuna fish oil? Yes, you can give your dog tuna fish oil as a supplement if they're not getting enough omega fatty acids in their diet. However, it's important to consult with your veterinarian before doing so because too many of these fatty acids could actually be harmful. Fish oils come in both pill and liquid form, but we recommend sticking with the liquid if possible because it's easier for dogs to digest. What are the benefits of tuna fish oil for dogs? Fish oils provide numerous benefits for dogs, including healthy skin and coat, improved joint health, reduced inflammation, and better cognitive function. They're also a great source of protein and omega fatty acids, which are essential nutrients for dogs. So if your pup isn't getting enough of these nutrients in their diet, tuna fish oil could be a great solution. What are the disadvantages of tuna fish oil for dogs? While tuna fish oil can provide numerous benefits for dogs, there are some disadvantages as well. For instance, they may cause digestive upset if consumed excessively, which can result in diarrhea. It's also important to consult your vet before giving them any supplements because too many fatty acids could actually lead to health problems like pancreatitis or even heart disease. This is why it's best to only give your dog small doses at first and monitor how they react so you know what works best with their needs. Also, keep an eye on labels when purchasing this type of product. Many have added ingredients that could lead to health problems. Finally, always consult with your veterinarian before making any changes to your diet. What's the difference between regular tuna and light tuna? There isn't much difference between regular tuna and light tuna when it comes to dogs. However, it would be best if you still stuck with the cooked varieties because raw fish can contain harmful bacteria that could make them sick. It's also important to consider how much is safe for your dog given their size. Too much of any type of seafood can be dangerous, so always consult with your vet first. Tuna juice safe for dogs to consume? No, tuna juice is not safe for dogs to drink. Tuna juice is high in sodium and can actually be quite harmful to dogs. It's best to stick with fresh water or filtered water when giving them a drink. Can your dog consume tuna steak? Yes, your dog can consume tuna steak as a special treat. However, it's important to remember that they should only have this type of seafood in moderation because it is high in fat and protein. Also, be sure to cook the steak thoroughly before serving it to them. Raw fish can contain harmful bacteria that could make them sick. Can tuna affect your dog's skin? Yes, tuna can affect your dog's skin. If they're allergic to it, their skin may become red and irritated after consuming it. It's best to consult with your veterinarian if you notice any changes in their skin after giving them tuna. How much mercury is in tuna? Tuna contains small amounts of mercury, which is why it's important to monitor your dog's intake. Too much can lead to health problems like kidney damage. It also affects other organs in the body, but too little mercury has been linked with poor cognitive development. Canned tuna labels are required to have information about mercury levels, so carefully read the label before giving your dog any tuna fish. Can tuna cause an upset stomach? Yes, tuna can cause an upset stomach if consumed in excess. Too much of any type of seafood could lead to bloating and diarrhea, so monitor your dog's intake closely to ensure they don't have an adverse reaction. In addition, taking essential vitamins and minerals like omega fatty acids can help to prevent an upset stomach. Does tuna provide lean protein? Yes, tuna provides lean protein. Protein is a vital nutrient for dogs to maintain their overall health and well-being. It's also essential in building muscle, especially important for active or working breeds that need the extra energy provided by it. Do dogs need tuna? No. While some breeders recommend feeding your dog tuna because of its high oil content, you shouldn't feel obligated to feed them this type of fish if they don't show any interest in it. You should always consult with your veterinarian before trying anything new so they can determine what works best with your pup's unique needs. Also, always monitor how much you give them at first, since too much could lead to unpleasant side effects like an upset stomach. Dogs can eat cooked tuna in oil, but it's important to keep an eye on how much they are eating at a time, since too much food will lead to health problems down the line for any creature, including humans. As with anything else, tuna should be given in moderation as part of a balanced diet. Freshwater or filtered water should always be available to dogs, and they should never consume raw fish. Lastly, canned tuna labels have information about the mercury levels in each can, so please take that into consideration before feeding it to your pup. If you're ever unsure if the tuna you have is safe, always consult with your veterinarian first.